The NBA playoffs start April 16th, and with the play-in games, there are now 20 teams vying for the NBA championship. The 2022 playoffs give you up to 9 weeks of action, with game number 1 of the NBA Finals not even tipping off until June 2nd. Last year, the NBA playoff package was listed for $249, but we've made it even better this year by lowering the entire 9-week playoff package to $199. While the early bird catches the worm may be a cliche, but it holds true to this incredible offer. The first 99 customers can use the coupon code FIRST99 and save an additional $50 off the playoff package, dropping the price down to $149. That's right, 9 weeks of NBA action for $149. That's under $17 per week. Act fast to use code FIRST99, as only the first 99 customers can use this code.
Hey guys, welcome in, and a very happy Thursday to you, April the 14th, and we got some baseball on our mind, not just the MLB, but the KBO, the Japanese League. We've got tickets to cash, and let's face it, who better than these two gentlemen here to help us do just that? Well, they've been doing nothing but cashing tickets here as we welcome in Tokyo Brandon joining us, as well as Adam Trigger. Guys, a very happy Thursday, happy Friday to you there, Brandon, as we get ready for the weekend. And let's start right off the bat, Brandon. An unbelievable run there last night, 7-1, I believe. Best bets there across the board. Congratulations. And I understand you got a little something, a little special here for the viewers to be able to take advantage of.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Good morning, good evening, wherever you're at. It's morning here. I went 7-1 yesterday. I won my 5% play, and I won 2 4% plays, and went 7-1 yesterday. So far in the KBO and Japanese baseball together, I'm winning about 68%, which is probably not sustainable, but it's a nice start to the season. I have a special for my rest of my Japanese baseball season. It's $299 for the rest of the season, but the first 10 people who jump on this offer can get $100 off, so you can get the rest of my Japanese baseball season for $199. The first 10 people, go to Tokyo Brandon's page at WagerTalk.com, and you will see that offer. There is a coupon code, so find it, put it in, and you'll get $100 off. $199 for the rest of my Japanese baseball season is the special.
Guys, you cannot go wrong. It pays for itself. It's kind of ridiculous. 7-1 night, man. Way to go, Tokyo Brandon. And talk to me here, Trig, continuing to roll here in KBO. A lot of stuff going on. I know you've dabbled a little now in the MLB as well. Talk to us about what's happening at WagerTalk.com with you.
Yeah, so my day's actually already over for today. I had KBO this morning, KT Wiz plus 1.5, which was a winner, and I had the Mariners this afternoon, which was a winner. So 2-0 day for me today. 5-2 in the MLB so far this year. KBO had a couple losses, but bounced back this morning with a win. That's KBO's actually been up and down so far, but I fully expect. I hit 59.4% last year. I think it was like 57 or 58% in 2020. So I think we'll get up to that point. But it's going well. Great start to Major League Baseball, and I like I said, we're gonna keep cashing tickets. We don't care how they cash, just that they're winners. So we'll keep it going.
So if I go dark, it's because this building is on fire apparently here at the studio, and that'll be the end of it. You guys know if it ain't a tornado, it's apparently fire alarms I have to deal with. Great stuff here though, Trig, and still a lot of KBO and of course Japanese baseball to come here this weekend. But let's talk about a game coming up right now, guys. We'll break it down. And let's talk about the LG Hanwha for you guys here, taking on, or the Hanwha Eagles, rather, versus the LG Twins Minus 195 for the Twins on the money line to open, plus 165 for the Eagles. This total hovering around 8 at the open. Talk to me here, Trig. What do you think about these two teams?
Well, certainly two teams at the opposite ends of the table here, if you will. LG 8-3, just dropped 2 of 3 to SSG, but also maybe more notably just handed the Landers their first loss of the season yesterday, snapping their 10-game unbeaten streak to open the year. Hanwha, they are where they usually are at the bottom of the table, 2-9. I don't know that really comes as a surprise at this point, because that seems to be where they end up by this point just about every year. But coming into this series, so it feels like a potential letdown spot here for LG. Coming off that big series with SSG, now they have to go on the road to play Hanwha. But LG's got Min-Ho Lee on the mound, and it feels like it could be a bounce back spot for him because he's been horrendous to start the year. But he had a 1.17 whip last year, over 25 appearances, 22 starts, which in KBO is outstanding. So just starting to do the math, if you will. I don't want to bet LG in this spot coming off of the series with SSG because they're just ripe for a letdown, and you can actually get Hanwha plus 1.5 at about even money, which is pretty good. That being said, I don't know that I want to go against Min-Ho Lee, who has great numbers against Hanwha and could be in a bounce back spot. So I think the wild card here is Hanwha starter Dae-Kyung Yun, who has actually been really good. You look at his numbers last year, mostly as a reliever. He's been solid. He was really good in a start earlier this year. I like this guy. And I think since they're using him as a starter, I think they're going to try to get 4 or 5 innings. So, the under makes sense, but it's a little short at 8. And I also don't trust Hanwha's bullpen at all. That's been an issue. The bullpen has imploded on a couple of occasions for Hanwha this year. So I think if I was going to bet this game, I'd look to a first 5 under. You can get 4.5s, which is really good. I saw 4.5 minus 120 earlier. I think Min-Ho Lee is going to bounce back and pitch good tonight. And I think Hanwha, their offense is not great. They have these spurts where they'll hit, but for the most part, not a great offense. LG, not a great offense either. Probably out hitting what they're going to do for the majority of the season so far this year. So if I had to make a play in this one, it would be under 4.5 for the first 5 innings.
All right, under in the first 5. How about, Brandon, which one of these bullpens do you have more faith in between these two?
Yeah, not a lot to add to what Adam said. I like Lee Min-Ho, the starter for LG. Last year against Hanwha in 3 starts, he gave up 1 run, 0 runs, and 0 runs in 3 starts. He had a 22-5 strikeout to walk ratio against Hanwha last year. And, LG's bullpen ERA right now, collective ERA is 1.69 versus Hanwha's bullpen ERA, which is 7.72. So, I have a 4% play on this game. You can probably tell which way I'm going on it just by that. Not much else to say. I do like Lee Min-Ho. Adam, I agree with Adam. Yoon Dae-Kyun is a decent starting pitcher, but he rarely goes past 5 innings, which means you open up the game for the second best lineup to tee off on a bullpen with a collective 7.72 ERA. I think there's only one way to go on this, and I have a 4% play on it, but you won't have to buy it after listening to that.
Yeah, pretty good idea. That says it all. I have a feeling I know which bullpen you have more faith in there as well. All right, guys, that is our featured game here of the show. We'd like to, for those of you that are new here to the show, we do like to ask these guys some of the thoughts that they have this point. If you haven't been following the KBO, kind of gives you a good idea to let you know, and nobody follows it like these two guys. So we always like to ask them a little bit here about some of the things that they have taken away through the season so far. And Trig, I'll come to you here. Talk to me about one of your takeaways at this point through the KBO season.
All right, Joe. So we're 11 games in. And right now, we have two what I would consider contenders, or what should be contenders, at the very bottom of the league, which is NC and KT. So the NC Dinos and the KT Wiz. I think a lot of so KT's your defending 2021 champs. I don't think there was many that had them outside of like the top 2 or 3 coming into this season. With NC being your 2020 champs, and they've kind of been up. They weren't great last year, but I think a lot of people had them, bouncing back this year. And so my takeaway is, first, they've both been atrocious, but it's really been the offense. The pitching hasn't been that bad. It's the offense has been dreadful. NC's batting 190 as a team right now. Yuji Yang, who's one of the sluggers in this league, a veteran, he might as well be the Yadier Molina of KBO, right? Veteran catcher, respected as much as anyone in the league, and the guy just seems to not age. He just produces every year. He missed the first week of the season with COVID, and he's 0-15 since coming back. I just can't see that continuing for both of these teams. Now, KT's got a little bigger issue with Becco Kang out for a couple months, and their offense hasn't done much of anything, but they also hadn't been hitting with runners in scoring position, and they finally did yesterday against Doosan to generate a little offense. So it might not happen overnight, but I think you have to look at NC and KT as teams that you're going to want to play on going forward, because the markets have just adjusted way too much with these teams, right? Like you got KT's going to be an underdog in their game with Lotte. I'll talk about that in a little bit. And it's just like these two teams should be so much better than they are. So my takeaway is I think you could look to play on these teams, maybe not tomorrow, but like what I would say is look for buy signs on NC and KT. NC plays Kia this weekend. KT plays Lotte, and I can just about guarantee that they're not getting swept. So I'm not a huge proponent of this, but if you ever wanted to like martingale it and like try to get out with a double your bet or something, I don't think that's gonna. I don't think NC is getting swept by Kia, and I don't think KT is gonna get swept by Lotte. I wouldn't be surprised if both these teams actually turned it around this weekend and got their seasons going in the right direction. So that's my sort of thing to this point. If you're tuning in just now and say, wow, like these teams are bad, I don't think they're that. I don't think that's the case. I think they're just off to bad starts, and we probably see it come back the other direction.
Oh, I love it. Buy low spots. That's what we talk about all the time. And speaking of low here, Tokyo Brandon, talk to me about one of your takeaways. You noticed something else pretty low here thus far.
Turn around,
oh, good
bright
God.
eyes. Every now and then I fall apart.
Drink!
So, I agree. So I agree with Adam. To add on to that, there are 3 teams in the KBO right now who are going to turn it around, bright eyes, and that would be KT, NC. They're averaging, KT and NC are averaging less than 3 runs a game. That's not going to continue. They will turn it around. Hanwha is averaging 2.45 a game. I don't know if Hanwha can turn it around, but I definitely think KT and NC will. Adam mentioned NC's catcher, probably the best catcher in the league. At least he has been up to this season. They're going to turn it around eventually. Whether that's today or not, I don't know. But it's very rare in the KBO that we have 0 teams averaging 5 runs a game. We have 3 teams averaging less than 3 runs a game. I don't know what's going on. Are they humidifying the balls or what? I don't know. But this is unusual. When you look at team totals on the books, they are overcompensating, as Adam mentioned. You're seeing game team totals at 2.5. Yesterday, I won 2 bets. I had LG over 2.5 and KT over 2.5. They were just small 1% plays, but I mean, those were easy cash. So I think they cashed in the 3rd, 4th inning. I mean, 2.5 in the KBO is unheard of. And if you go out there and scan the team totals today, you might see a couple 2.5s. They're worth a blind bet, even just a couple pesos, because 2.5 in the KBO is unheard of. And we're seeing unheard of numbers right now, which will turn around bright eyes. That's my take.
All right. So for those of you that are new here, we have put together a drinking game for this show. If you're catching it live on a Thursday evening, and Tony Brandon does an amazing job of just somehow or another mixing in a very obscure '80s song every now and then with the show. Every time he does it, we have to drink. So I'm already half in the bag. So let's move on here. Great stuff there. Appreciate that, Tokyo Brandon. Play along at home. Let's talk about a series coming up this weekend. We like to talk about some of these series that are going to happen here Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And Trig, I'm going to come to you because you mentioned KT. They got an interesting series here coming up. How are you approaching it?
Yeah, so just off the top, I said it in the last segment. I'm going to try to target KT in this series, but last night didn't really do KT any favors. So they played a game with Doosan that they came back tied and eventually lost in extra innings. And they really kind of ate through their top bullpen arms in the process. What did help KT to get ready for this series is that they had a rainout earlier in this week that won't be made up this week because that's KBO adds them on at the end of the season for the most part. So they're not going to really get hurt by Cuevas being out. They don't have to sort of piece together a starter. They can he's just going to get skipped naturally with the rain out. So KT comes into this series with their pitching roughly intact. They've got Jae-Sung Bae on Friday against Un Kim Jin. I know I probably say the name backwards. It's supposed to be the other way, but Jin or Kim for Lotte was outstanding his first time out, but he had COVID. He's coming off of a COVID battle. So I think potentially, KT as an underdog in that first game of the series is pretty tempting. But the bullpen, I don't love the fact that they used their top bullpen arms yesterday extensively. So I'll shelve that for best bets because I'm going to talk more about that particular game. But you go down the road in the series, you've got Despaigne, who's the former major leaguer, journeyman major leaguer. He was on 5-6 different teams. He's probably going to go Saturday. He could match up against Glenn Sparkman, who we've only seen once for 4 innings against Doosan. He didn't make his first start until last week. I'd give KT a pitching edge there. And then they can come back with Youngkyo Ko in Sunday's game, who pitched on Tuesday. And, they might be up against Charlie Barnes, who also pitched Tuesday. But I think Charlie Barnes might be a little regression candidate. He has a 1.02 ERA, which is insanely low, but his whip is in the 1.3s. So I think he's been a little lucky. So this series actually might work out for KT. And you also have to, I referenced it earlier. Coming into yesterday's game, they were hitting like a $180 with runners in scoring position. So they were generating some offense, just not cashing the chances in. They finally did against Doosan a couple times. Lotte bullpen, nothing special, and it tends to play as a pretty good hitter's park. So I think KT is going to turn it around this weekend. I just haven't figured out where I'm going to step in and make a bet, but I will save it for best bets. I've got an angle we can exploit tomorrow in this game.
Go ahead, Brandon. I know you want to do it. Go ahead, give me a couple lines. I know. I know. He said it. Go ahead and do. I know it's coming. So very good there. Yes, turn it around. That's absolutely correct. That seems to be the theme here today, and Trig is all over it. All right, Brandon, talk to us here about a series. And before you actually do, and before you bust out into another obscure '80s song, let me go ahead and remind you guys, a great opportunity to hop on board here with Tokyo Brandon, guys, over at WagerTalk.com. Both these gentlemen, Adam Trigger and Tokyo Brandon. And in fact, Tokyo Brandon, #1 at WagerTalk, guys, in profits in Asian baseball. The Japanese baseball league right now, guys, his championship pass. You can get it right now for $2.99. And if you hop on board and you're one of the first 10, you can take $100 off of that. So if you are looking to make it a profitable next couple of months, guys, no better way and by visiting both of these gentlemen here at WagerTalk.com. So talk to us from a series perspective here. Speaking of the Japanese League, talk to us about a series coming up this weekend.
Okay, I love how you roll your eyes, Joe. When we're I haven't even said anything yet. That's great. So yeah, I'm gonna jump to the Japanese League because there is a great series here that I want to break down. There's going to be a 3-game series between the Yomiuri Giants and the Hanshin Tigers. Hanshin Tigers are having an abysmal season. They're 1-15. They've won one. They're the second team in league history to only have one win after 17 games, and they are just awful. Their bullpen is performing awful. Their lineup is averaging 1.8 runs a game. They are just they're missing their foreign players. Now, in Japan, foreign players are not the heart and soul of your team like they are in Korea. In Japan, foreign players are pretty average, and they do make a lot of money, but they're pretty average. They can be outperformed by their Japanese counterparts, not like in Korea where the foreign players are expected to basically carry the team on their backs. Hanshin's missing their foreign players, and they're just performing absolutely in an abysmal manner right now. So I like Yomiuri to at least win the first 5 of 2 of the next 3 games here. Today, both teams have their aces on the mound, so I expect a low score, but I do expect Yomiuri to at least win the first 5, if not the whole game. I would say in the next 3 games, I doubt Hanshin will win 1. Because Yomiuri is averaging almost 8 runs a game in their last 4. Their bats are heating up. They have all their foreign players. They have no injuries. So I expect Yomiuri to pretty much roll in this series, even though Hanshin is at home in the mecca of Japanese baseball, Koshien Stadium. So that's my outlook on this series. I will be betting the Yomiuri Giants to win at least first 5 because both teams have abysmal bullpens. But Hanshin, I expect them to continue their tailspin.
All right, great stuff here, guys. Japanese League here. Make sure you visit both gentlemen at WagerTalk.com to cash those tickets this weekend. But how about a best bet? Trig, I'll come to you first here. Which one of these games are you looking at?
Yeah, so I have a 4% play that's up at WagerTalk right now. That would be my top play on the board for Friday. But second best thing, KT Wiz, I talked about him at length during this show. And KT Wiz first 5 has some value to me here. First of all, Jae-Sung Bae getting the ball for KT. He's one of the premier sort of domestic starters in this league at this point. And when I say domestic, I mean Korean-born, non-import starters. He's right up there. Big part of the KT Wiz championship run last year. He's outstanding. He's an outstanding pitcher. Now, Lotte's going to counter with a 19-year-old that was phenomenal in his first start. He struck out 10, went 7 innings, was outstanding, but it was against NC, who hasn't hit at all yet this year. And you look back at his season last year, 6.31 ERA, 1.99 WHIP. So he's still a kid, really young, 19 years old, probably going to be a little bit erratic. He's probably going to have good outings and bad outings. And he comes off of just having COVID. His first start was the 5th, which means they had to skip him. And now he's back off of COVID. Tough to know how much he was able to throw during the 10-day layoff. And again, he's up against a pitcher in Bay that I would say is probably better. Right as of right now, who knows if this kid is going to be special or not. But I think in this case, in the first 5 scenario, I think Bay against an unproven Kim for Lotte coming off of having COVID is a pretty big advantage. And you're getting KT Wiz plus 110. We talked about potential positive regression in the hitting. They cashed in a couple of runners in scoring position chances last night. Maybe that continues here. With all that being said, I would like KT for the game if their bullpen was in a little bit better position, but they really did burn a lot of their good relievers last night. So let's go KT Wiz plus 110 on the first 5. I think Bay gives them a nice advantage to at least get to the end of the 5th inning tied or in the lead.
All right, whiz it is for Adam Trigger. Love that. And Tokyo Brandon, which game did you circle for us here? Best bet for the show.
Yeah, I'm on the Wiznator as well, but I have a different game here. I'm going with Kiwoom in the Doosan game here because Doosan's putting out a pitcher, a Korean pitcher who I really like, Choi Won-jun. I really like him. So when I analyze a game and I break it down, first I have to like the game. So this one, check. I like this game. And then I look for, matchups, and I look at, bullpens and lineups, and I look for red flags. So if there's all green flags, I make it a 5% play, bing, bing, bing. Blue light special. If I see some red flags, then I'll knock it down to like a 2 or 3% play. And this one, I do have a couple of red flags, but I'm making this my best bet. As I said earlier, I have a 4% play out in another game, but this one I put out as a 2% client play. I like Choi Won-jun for Doosan. He's going against Tyler Epler, who